Hi, it's Ian and welcome back to my 30 days of knife skills. Today is day 26 and I am working with oranges. So there's a couple different kinds here, and this one is already cut. Had to use a little bit earlier. Also used a little orange peel for a cocktail garnish yesterday. So some of this stuff with oranges is an overlap from the earlier video about lemons. So same thing with using the vegetable peeler. If you're going to get a lemon or an orange twist or peel off for whatever purpose, could do that. Also use a microplane to get some grated orange peel. That's also useful. Also getting a wedge. So I like to have wedges, orange wedges this way, so that it opens up like that. That's my preferred way. You could have it where it opens up this way as well, but yeah, that's my preferred way if I was going to do this. But it's not really my favorite way to eat oranges. I think this is great for something like watermelon, but it's a little bit not ideal for me to eat orange slices this way. So I prefer other ways, but that's how I would do it if I was going to do orange slices, or wedges I should say. Of course, slices, just like with lemons, we could be doing slices of orange. So the one technique we didn't cover with lemons is supreming. So getting just the segments out without any of this stuff, this pith and the membranes in between. So the peel of the orange is good. The very outside zest is good. The white is not good. It's bitter, and you want to avoid that. And I think this stuff is a matter of opinion, if you prefer it or don't prefer it. Maybe it depends also on the variety of oranges, but what I would do to take off those supremes, what you might see in more of a fancy restaurant, or cooks on TV might be talking about, that is take off the ends. And for work like this, it's kind of nice to have a small utility knife or a petty knife like this. And we're just going to take off the outside. So depends on your technique, how much you're able to leave on the orange, and you don't really want to leave too much of this kind of thing. So it's kind of a balance between how much waste. And actually this, if there's any juice left, you could actually squeeze it out and just put it into your, if I have some dressing, salad dressing or a vinaigrette nearby, I might just squeeze it in and maybe get like a half or quarter teaspoon of juice. So I would probably do that. The thing that you do not want is having this membrane here that I'm leaving a little bit. This is if you want to be fancy and follow the technique of going through this process. If you have a very wide blade, like a cleaver or nakiri, it makes it much more difficult to go around it. So that's why I'm choosing to use this. Another reason I'm choosing to use this the stainless steel knife, is because of the acidity of the oranges. If I have my chef's knife or my other carbon steel knives, it'll definitely quickly react. The acid and the carbon steel will react. So if I'm doing a bunch of stuff like this, if it's a quick one-time job, then it might be fine, but otherwise I will get one of my stainless steel knives, and in this case, trying to get all the pith off, I would use a narrow profile blade. So it's pretty good. From here, the supreming technique is you're trying to get, so I'm going to get this piece out here, go on the right side of that membrane and then go on the left side of the other membrane and try to follow the angle. And there you have just the inside, orange, pure orange, no pith, no membrane. So this is the fancy thing. I noticed that there is a difference, but I don't really look to do that. And of course, what you're left with, if you do the whole orange, you're left with, a whole lot of membrane, which you can make sure you juice out and use all that juice for something. But in some ways, I kind of want to be eating all that juice at the same time. So I'm not sure. There's almost never a time where I feel like I need to supreme oranges like this. It's just a fancy technique that, I'm not sure if it makes that huge of a difference. So instead, if I was going to put in a salad, maybe I would just work from here. So I got the pith off at least, and now I just have, some of this. So if I felt like this pith was a little bit too much, then I might remove it here in this stage. So just take off that middle segment. There's some pits, some seeds that might get in the way of doing that. But here now it looks pretty clean. So from here, you could just kind of do this and sort of get similar shapes. But I like to actually break up these membranes by cutting it in this way. So you could have slices like this, which is nice. I would eat that. I think that's quite close enough to this, and you have way more juice. You just have to deal with a little bit of the membrane, but I think for normal applications, I think it's no big deal at all, especially since I took out that middle. This, maybe it depends on the variety of orange, which ones have more material in the center that you want to take out. But so you could do this, or cut it again smaller and then do the same thing, and that would even give you more of a bite size that is even easier to eat. And if you wanted to get smaller, then we can break up these membranes in even smaller pieces like that. Although at this stage I'm not sure what the use, because it just keeps turning into, there's so much juice on the board now because of all this processing. Not sure what the use for that would be. I would not do that. This might be the smallest I would go. But I think keeping it intact, this kind of size, I think is no problem. I think in this case, the center is a little bit tough, so I think it might be worth taking it out. Another way to take the center off is to quarter it, and then it's a little bit easier to deal with this way. Take out that center part. So you have this shape. And if you wanted to, you could try to get some of the seeds out. I might do that if it's going to be put into a salad with other ingredients. Sometimes you can't always see those seeds if it's mixed in with all these other ingredients like beans and nuts and stuff like that especially. And nobody wants to just chomp into one of these unknowingly because it's not pleasant at all. So in that case, it might be nice to go in there and try to get some of the seeds out for oranges. In terms of juicing with lemons, I have that big kind of lemon juicer that you can squeeze. I think for oranges, they probably make big ones, but I don't use that. I just simply use the reamer. It does a great job. So yeah, if you have a smaller size reamer, then maybe if you do a lot of oranges, you might want to get a bigger size. I think this is an OXO, but it's a great intermediate size. Works for bigger fruits and smaller fruits, so it's a nice shape and size. So I think that's it for oranges. Let me know if you have any questions, and we'll see you on the next one.